this. Not this. This. Not this. This. That's a mile high. Let me get my mini rant over with. I spent just enough time on Instagram today and I saw just enough nosebleed optics. I'm calling them nosebleed because they're a mile high, like nosebleed seats at a concert. I'm not saying that it's going to give you nosebleed under recoil. What I'm saying is just because it comes with a mount doesn't mean it's the right one for your lever gun. So what I have here on this table are 4 different lever actions with 5 different sighting systems. I want to go through and show you exactly what I like about all of them, my reasoning behind them, and why we should not do this anymore. Let me preface this video by saying there is absolutely nothing wrong with factory iron sights, buckhorn sights, whatever. 2 of these are iterations on iron sights. But the first example of what to do is right here. This is a Marlin Dark 336 chambered in 30-30. It is a ride-on 1 through 8x24, slammed down as low as it can be on an XS Sights lever rail and a ride-on by Contessa rings. They're a 30mm, 8mm low. It's the lowest Contessa you can get. These rings are excellent. They're a little pricey, but they're excellent rings. This thing has maintained 0 for a really long time, and I like it. Of course, the reason that this is what to do is the height over bore. You can see the center line of our optic is very low, as close as we can get it to the center line of our bore. What this does is gives me some 0 considerations that are really helpful, really handy, and really quick out in the field. 140 yards, 9-pointer. I'll take deer out to 200 yards with this very comfortably. Now, the second example of what to do is right here. I've got the X-Sight LTV 3 through 9X, and if you can see, this thing is slammed down as low as it can get. With it being as low as it can get, my height over bore is as low as possible. Now, I did have to flip my factory. This is the Henry Long Ranger Express. I flipped my factory rail around to get me back for eye relief on this day/night scope. This video actually went wildly unwatched. I'll link to that below. But with this one, I've got a 0 of 50 yards. We're a little bit high at 100. It comes back into its own at 200. And then we're about 7 or 8 inches at 300. So again, a very quick, very easy target acquisition. Now, when I see a lot of these lever actions with these mile-high optics, we're talking about height over bore yet again. Figuring this out, if you're like a 35 or 50 yard steel shooter and that's all you ever do is just go plink, more power to you. You know, you've got a chin weld. You cannot get a cheek weld. Let me flip this thing up. So just for illustration, that is what it takes. See it on my chin? That is what it takes for me to see this. Now this mod stock, Ranger Point has a riser for it. I'm in the process of getting a riser. But still, with the right rings, you drop this thing down and your 0 considerations are much easier. So now let's get this abomination off of here. So, next sighting system was hiding in plain sight. This is the XS Sights Henry lever rail, and I freaking love it. You got 2 different sizes of ghost rings. You got a very nicely visible front sight with a nice white stripe there, and it offers a really quick target acquisition. Let's say you're in bear country or something like that. You just simply pull this thing up, look through it, align it, and go. So now, as for this ghost ring and the Chris Costa tactical lever action class, I used this exact setup in that tactical lever action class. And this rear sight, I chose the smaller of the 2. There's a larger aperture and a smaller one. The smaller one is still plenty big. So when Chris Costa was belting out his commands, this thing right here, when he would just say, all right, give me 2, you just pull up, boom, boom. You could stay in cadence with everybody else with a sight this quick. Next consideration is the Ranger Point Precision Cloverleaf sight. I have played with the Skinners. The Skinners do offer a really nice, fine option if you use the aperture. You know, you can screw the aperture in and make it smaller. You can unscrew it and make it bigger and quicker, kind of like our ghost ring there. Now, with this one having the Cloverleaf aperture, I can stare at this thing 2 different ways. I can focus on the rear sight, and I can see all of the little crosshairs in the Cloverleaf, or if I just kind of look straight through it, then I get a bigger ring. So I don't have any removable pieces or anything like that. I can go really fine if I want to, or really quick if I have to. So I really like this. Since everyone's time is valuable and ain't nothing getting any cheaper, a quick word from our sponsor. Our sponsor today is Leatherback. Each backpack comes equipped with 2 hidden internal pockets designed to hold the level of armor you'd like to carry inside. Perfect for work, school, and travel. With our patented backpack to bulletproof design, simply pull on the red zipper, separate the backpack into 2 parts, creating a armored vest within seconds. By hiding armor within something that people are already used to carrying everywhere, we have turned a backpack into a personal reactionary tool to a life-threatening problem. It's protection that goes wherever you go, ready for whatever comes your way. A personal protection system designed for the most important thing you'll ever put in your backpack today, you. You know, when I got home and started editing this video, I realized I had left a couple of holes in it. First and foremost, the first hole, you see how this ejects out of the top? Well, I do have this NOE Bullet Molds rail right here. This is the Rossi 92 that I have dubbed Project 12 Footer. I call this one Project 12 Footer because she looks pretty good from about over here. But I put this NOE Bullet Molds rail out here, and I also keep the factory buckhorn sight in a bag readily available for this one, basically because I can still see right over the top of this suppressor with that front sight. So this one actually still works really well with buckhorns. But what I've got on here is the Vortex Spark 2 with the low mount, and that really works well. And I've also got a couple of other optics considerations to speak of. Let's run off to the barn. So here is a closer look at the Project 12 Footer. Of course, this thing is really, really ugly, but I love it. But this is that NOE Bullet Molds rail. You can see it has a slight taper in it. They've machined a slight taper, and it actually fits the barrel really nicely. And basically all it is when you take off your factory buckhorn sight, there are some screws underneath it, and you just put some really good Loctite on it and screw that thing down. So then you may own a Marlin or a Henry that XS doesn't make a specific rail for. I know I was flaunting the XS Sights lever rails on 2 of mine there, and I know that there are a few models that just kind of fall in the cracks, and XS hasn't made anything yet. But what we've got here, this is the Ranger Point Precision Rhino rail and the Weaver 63B. Now you're going to see a price tag on that Weaver 63B, and there's a reason that it's a lot cheaper. So look at the both of them. We've got the Rhino rail here, we've got the 63B here from Weaver. Now the cool thing is the Marlin and Henry share a bolt pattern. So they fit the same top of the receivers. Let's get that to focus again. They fit the same receiver tops there. So those screws are interchangeable. But let's look at real estate. So Weaver has got a groove in the front and a groove in the back, and that's it. So wherever you set that scope, those where your rings are going to have to be, and you're going to have to do your adjustment with the scope. Whereas with the Ranger Point Precision Rhino rail, and also worth noting is Henry does have their Pride rail. The RPP rail sits much lower, but Henry does have their own rail that'll fit. And another optic system that I kind of missed is those smaller red dots. Now those smaller red dots absolutely do have a place on a lever action. Lever actions aren't really known for having a long range capability, so a little red dot, 2 or 4 MOA red dot, is going to be ample for many of them because of their effective range. And I know that lots of the guys at the Chris Costa lever action class that I took, so they had just a really quick, easily acquired sighting system that was definitely really nice and low and compact and did really well on that platform. Now, like I said, I just had to get it off my chest. I wasn't trying to sound preachy. I know when I say things on Instagram, I'll comment. Now, if you try a lower mount, you might like that optic a little bit better. And people want to think you're a troll. They want to think you're just some internet blowhard. Simply enough, I've stopped commenting. I just took and said, well, I've got to make the video. If these people see it, they see it. It makes a lot more sense to drop your optic down. It's a lot better. It fits in a case better. I mean, I'm talking so many different considerations. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. Y'all have a wonderful day. I love you.